I didn't feel worthy to be with them. Was in the Korean War as well as the World War II. To jump with my first parachute jump at age 97, and everybody, it sounds like they're scared. I mean, it sounds like, whoa, you're not really going to jump, are you?
Hey everybody, Casey Maxted with Warrior Rising. We're here today in Normandy, France, and it's June 7th, 2025, the 81st anniversary of D-Day. And I'm here with a really special guest today, Mr. Don Poole from Des Moines, Iowa. And for a little bit of background, in November of 24, I was invited to a high school football game to be recognized with other veterans during the Iowa State playoffs. And I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Poole, and a short conversation between the two of us about our backgrounds and histories. And I let Don know that I was going to France in the summer to celebrate the anniversary of D-Day, and extended an invite, and certainly glad and honored that you took me up on it and have made the trek to France with me. So Don, thank you so much for being here.
It's an honor for me, and from the moment that I met Casey, just an attachment there. He and his boys, great old boys, so it was a pleasure to meet them. And it was just hard to believe that Casey was inviting me to come with his group. I was not in combat, so I didn't feel worthy to be with them, but he just assured me that I was, because I was in the Korean War as well as the World War II. And so this time between the time he invited me and the time that we got together for another meeting at North Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was recognized there, and I could not believe it, because these fellows that I'm with, like Casey, that have been in combat, they are special people, and that I am so honored just to be with them. And so I was at a fundraiser up in North Liberty, mm-hmm. and met some more fellows there. And so it's just been great. I ordered my uniform, getting to jump with my first parachute jump at age 97. And everybody, it sounds like they're scared. I mean, it sounds like, whoa, you're not really going to jump, are you? I knew these guys that I was with, I had nothing to fear.
That's right.
And so when we got over here and ready that day for the jump, I had no fear, no anxiety whatsoever. And the fellow that, what'd you call Bill Markham?
Yep.
Bill Markham, I was attached to him, so tight you can hardly breathe. So I knew I was in good shape with Bill. And there was, how many of you fellows jumped at what elevation?
We were only at 1,000 feet. Because of the cloud, 1,000 feet because of the cloud
feet?
cover. I think you were about 6,000.
Yeah, so our plane was circling around until we got up. I know the ground looked pretty plain and close when you jumped.
Yeah.
But we circled up there till the ground looked much smaller down there.
Yeah.
And I still had no anxiety. So when he counted down and we jumped, that first, how far you go before the chute opens, that's kind of a different feeling there. We had hail or something that was hitting us in the face, and anyhow,
Yeah.
it was fun. And then Bill explained, where the English Channel was in England and
Yeah.
the beach, to get to see all of that. Plus this beautiful country here.
Yeah.
Instead of having fences, they've got bushes and trees
Yeah.
that, what is it in America, 640 acres and a plot that it was how they had it marked with trees and bush. So that's a pretty sight.
You had a different view than most of us had. So
Yeah.
I was interested in one of the things that you said a little bit ago about service, and you were in the Korean War and served during World War II. And I had talked to you a little bit about this yesterday, and something that meant a lot to me is, like, I would always love to have had the chance to bring my grandfathers here, and they've both passed and stuff. And you mentioned to me that yesterday that you weren't here for you were here representing your generation, my grandfathers, and your brother who was at Utah Beach and stuff like that. And I thought that was really important and kind of hit home. And that's why we're all here, honoring and representing the men and women of your generation who stepped up during a really important time in history to kind of change the tide and liberate France.
Yeah.
And so that was really important to me. And I know that's important to you too, because you had a family member on Utah Beach. You were in the Korean War, and that's impactful to hear that coming from you. Have you had the same experience as us? Like we were talking earlier with some of the guys that came with us, that it's hard to process being here in such a beautiful place, knowing that the conflict that took place here. Have you had that same feeling? What have you been experiencing during your trip here?
Absolutely the same thing, Casey, that, like I said, I'm representing the United States. I'm having my picture taken with so many people, so it's not me.
Yeah.
They're here celebrating 81 years later, and it's hard to see that in America, that we have so much patriotism that, people go to the graveyards for their individual family, but we see all these Frenchmen wearing American uniforms it's just World War II all over here.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of young Americans don't know what a World War II uniform even looks like.
Yeah.
So to be a part, I just can't believe that, I'm the oldest duck around here wearing uniform and
jumping out of an airplane. Jumping out of an airplane.
Jumping out of an airplane. It's just, it's only from God.
Yeah.
God is, he guides our life, and so I know it's him that's opening all these doors for me, starting with you, and then I give my great granddaughter, it's her son, or her boyfriend is a quarterback for Dowling High School that was in that state tournament we went to. So I thank him when I see him that he's made all this possible.
So he's getting kind of a free pass then, huh?
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And the other thing I noticed over here, the French ladies really like you. They've kind of taken a liking to you, huh? Haven't they? Always hugging up on you.
I like that.
So we went to the National Cemetery 2 days ago at Omaha Beach, and it was really impactful for me. Like, one of the things that really hit me was when I was walking through, seeing all the Iowa, and they all mean something to me. Doesn't matter where you're from, but when you see the Iowa and the name of the service member on those headstones, it kind of hits home, because you get that feeling that they're all kids just like us. And I was wondering if you had similar experience. What was going through your mind when you were looking at just the gravity and the size of that cemetery, and seeing the loss and the sacrifice, and a lot of emotions kind of go through you when you're there on the ground.
Absolutely. That I'm a people person anyhow, and that's where I come from. So to think of all those young guys were just a little older than me that when I was getting out of high school, and so a lot of them went right into the service, and I did too. So to think of all that blood, the first lady we talked to when we got to our house, and she showed us around in that area, and her grandpa said that water was just blood red over where they were at, and there was so many boats that the out on the water, it just looked black from all the boats and the guys, and then the red of the blood coming in. Wouldn't that be I mean, you've seen enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's your brother's name? Your brother at Utah
Raymond.
Beach, Raymond.
Yeah, Shorty was his name.
Yeah. And when he came back to the States, what was his experience like? What did Raymond do for the rest of his life?
Oh, well, he worked at a packing house. Jobs weren't really too available then. And then he bought a gas station, and then he was in the working grocery store the rest of his life.
Yeah.
So.
And he was on Utah Beach, I remember you saying, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and then he was a messenger, so he had a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And he was doing his thing, getting to be free to riding motorcycle.
I gotcha.
Yeah, he was. My brother was. He was the oldest, and he was a little shorter than me. Had the nickname Shorty. He's 5'4".
Yeah.
But he was a tiger.
Yeah.
He was a character. So.
And you told me after your time in service that you came back and you had a barber business, correct? Yes. How many years did you have that?
22.
22 years.
And then in the Korean War, or Vietnam War, the guys went through the long hair, wearing holes in their pants. So it isn't new. It's something went through.
Yeah.
But I had my barbershop on the Drake University campus.
Yeah.
And so they were the first kids to get the long hair and whatever. So it really affected the barber business.
Yeah.
And I went to the post office then because I had some customers worked at the post office, and they had vacations and sick leave, and if you weren't cutting hair, you wasn't making any money in the barber business. So my wife had started back to work I met her. She was a student nurse at the Veterans Hospital when I went in as a patient. So we got married then, and that can break my chain of thought. But anyhow.
Did you move? So after the barber business, did you moved into ministry? Is that correct?
Just shortly, yes. Yeah, just shortly after that.
And you did that for about 20 some years?
Yeah. That's kind of never ended.
Absolutely.
I'm still doing the thing that I did mostly in the ministry.
Okay. That's great. So I know since we've met, you've had some firsts, right? So I'm always getting pictures from my friends of you fishing and catching big fish with my buddies. Yeah. You shot your first turkey. Is that right?
Right.
Yeah. And now you're jumping out of airplanes, right?
So all 97 years old.
All at 97 years old.
Yeah.
Yep. That's and you've been getting around really good over here. So one of the things that's really impressed me is like you're shaking all the hands, and the hugs and the pictures and stuff, and people really appreciate that. It connects them to that time in history, and I hope that you've really been fulfilled by it too, because it's been fulfilling for all of us. It's been the honor of a lifetime for me to have you here, and again, like it felt for me, it feels like it connects me to my grandfathers, and having you here. And I know that you didn't be a part of this other night. I think we wore you out a little bit, so you needed a break. But we got these rings. So one of our veterans from Warrior Rising, James Laguerre, who's here with us, he made these special rings for us, and they're filled with sand from Omaha, Utah Beach, and all the other beaches from D-Day. And we passed these around, and each ring has a veteran's name inscribed on the inside. And we went around and we shared stories about that veteran.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't
and it was
there.
well, we can do that again. We can do that later on with you. But like, it was very impactful. And one of the things that we talked about was that, you know, the important thing here is to keep their names alive, and tell their stories and share the experiences. And it was an emotional time. It was an impactful time. And that's kind of like what our pledge is to you and your generation, is to keep telling your guys' stories. So the name on the inside of my ring, you know, I keep my grandfather's stuff personal to me, but I had a friend growing up, Asher Schrader, where I grew up in eastern Iowa. And he was on Utah Beach too, as well. And he was shot, or he had shrapnel in his foot when he was in the Herchen Forest. A mortar landed in his foxhole and shredded his foot, and they were about to be overrun. And he and his buddy stayed behind in the foxhole, and his team went back, and they were going to come back and get those guys later. But by the time they got there, the Germans had overrun that area. He was a POW for 5 months.
My.
And the day he was liberated, his father had passed away.
Oh my!
After a battle with cancer. So his dad died never knowing that his son was liberated. And Asher went on to live a great life and had a huge impact on our community. And I got to know him later in life, which was fantastic. It was like a really, you know, treasured experience for me. But to be able to have this ring with his name engraved on it and tell his story like we all did that day was super impactful. So I hope that you know that we're always going to be telling your guys' stories and keeping your guys' memories alive of honor, of sacrifice, the bravery that your generation had to make the world what it is today. So I hope you know that. And that's really what this experience has been all about for me, is connecting with you guys in your generation and really honoring you guys. So I hope you feel that coming from us.
I certainly do, Casey. I just, to know that I'm with guys that have been Navy SEALs and Rangers and paratroopers, and I've gotten so much attention. I can't believe it. You know, I'm probably the least of the least here, but
not at all.
Being old,
yeah,
I know I represent the great generation.
Yeah,
and so you don't know what it means to me. You're honored, but there's something about I'm honoring you and everybody's here and our country. I feel that whole thing,
mm-hmm.
how important it is, and that if I sat and had pictures for 5 hours, I would do it because of what it represents.
Yeah.
But it's all in God's plan. When through my great grandson to be, and then on to you, and it's just been moving on, and even the guy that was with this other organization that came up when we were done at the party and invited me to go fishing, and so.
Hey, lift your mic up a little bit.
Oh,
you're good. Yeah, no, we've met a lot of great people together doing this stuff that we've done, and it's been a lot of fun. I've had a great 6 months doing all this stuff with you. We'll keep doing stuff going forward and have some more fun, but I'm just glad to see you smiling, getting the recognition and love that you deserve from everybody. And honestly, this has just been like an honor of a lifetime. And I know, the modern day veteran, we get enough attention. We've got social media that's too much attention. You guys, when I look at my buddies from the Vietnam era, and how the transition was different for them coming back from Vietnam, you guys deserve all the recognition and love that we can give you guys, and honor. So thank you for making this trip special for all of us. Having you here has just been a complete blessing, including Jerry and John, having your family and friends with us. It's been incredible, and they've been a lot of fun as well. So I hope that this has been half as good for you as it's been for all of us. So, and thank you for joining me here today too, and sharing a little bit about your experience.
Thank you. It's these two guys. I couldn't wait for them to meet you. I get to know them because they're the best. I've got a lot of grandkids, but John's always been special.
Yeah.
And when I went in the ministry, and so we're on the same page with each other, and so that's been the basis for our great friendships.
Yeah.
So.
And watching you walk around with them here in Normandy, it kind of, you watch them and they look like they're security for the Beatles or something. Because you've just been getting swarmed, and they've handled it so well. They keep smiling. They've been pleasant with everybody, and they've really represented kind of what the best of what we can offer from the United States, and getting to know the people here in Normandy. And it's been a lot of fun to watch, and they have certainly been a huge help. So
I love
definitely
what
thank
they're
them.
doing. They're enjoying it as much as I am.
Yeah.
They can see it. Jerry had 5, his dad and 4 brothers called in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Then John's dad, or grandpa, was his dad was in the Navy, but then his grandpa went on the Leopold that was sunk in the English Channel, or in the ocean side, I guess. So they've got a connection with the war too.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah,
incredible. Well, I'm glad that they had this time with you in Normandy, and Don, certainly appreciate your service to our country and what your generation did for us, and just thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I think we should go have some more fun and enjoy Normandy before we have to head back to the States. But I really look forward to more things ahead with you.
Well, I hope we see each other again soon.
We will.
It's just such a great bunch of people here. Men and women.
Yep.
So, I can't think anybody would appreciate it any more than me. But you guys that have given more than I have. I was never in combat, so you guys have done extraordinary things. Willingness to give your lives. So I think that's an important thing. When I went to Korea, I know when I got on the ship, I thought, a good chance I may not be back. This has been a good life, a good country.
Yeah.
My wife was 6 months pregnant when I left, so little boy was getting close to a year old when I got back. So and it was never the same. I think of these guys that were gone in World War II. It was different.
Yeah. You
didn't get home like you're able to do now, or call home. So there was guys that were gone for 3 years without seeing their family, and I was like John's grandpa. I was still in high school, so I went down to their house. When he went to service, he had to give had kids, I think 5 and 6. So to me at that time, when I was 17, that seemed ancient.
Yeah.
He was 20, probably in his late 20s, and that seemed awful old to be going into service.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is. That was a different time, and that's certainly another thing that people don't always consider. Like for us, it's pull up a video screen and you're talking to your family. It's not the same as being there, but there's a different connection. Being gone 1, 2, 3 years with no communication is a whole different level of, something to overcome. And man, it's just it's a sacrifice, is what it comes down to. A huge sacrifice. So
I think they called it V-mail in World War II. That was the only way you communicate overseas here, but they would write a letter, and then they put it on film, I guess, and sent back home, and then they would put it back onto a V-mail, so we get those little V-mails all the time.
Yeah. Different time.
Much different.
Well, Don, thank you again for being here and sharing your story and taking the time with us. This has been an incredible experience. I'll never forget watching you fall from the sky and with that big smile on your face, and it meant a lot to all of us, and I'm glad you got to have that experience with us. So thank you so much. It's been an honor.
Without you,
It's been an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.